Welcome to Friday, the 17th of July, 2026. Definitely getting to be summer out there now. Past few days with it being pretty wet and rainy, temperature was moderated, but today it's really up there. Although my watch is kind of wrong. It says it's 92 degrees Fahrenheit, which is approximately 34 Celsius, something like that. Okay, away from the weather and back to the reading. Today's reading's pretty good, I think. It's one of Ernest Holmes' central beliefs, and it's often kind of not put to one side, but people often say, well, do we really mean that? You'll see what I mean in a minute. Claim your health and your happiness. First quote is from William James. It's a fairly famous quote. I don't know if this is an exact quote, but it's pretty close. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter their life by altering their attitudes of mind. William James. I thought he actually said the greatest discovery of our generation, but it doesn't matter. So, yeah, it was about this time in the 19th century when people started to really realize and put into practice the fact that, yeah, your mind had got a great influence on what happened to your body, for good or ill. And Ernest Holmes really stressed this. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. And he really pushed that. It's been watered down sometimes, but Ernest Holmes was pretty adamant about this. And that's, once again, from what we believe, which is what Ernest Holmes said. This is what I believe, and then religious science said, okay, we'll take this as what we believe. If we're following Ernest Holmes' beliefs and teachings, then let's say what we believe. But originally it was what I believe by Ernest Holmes. And this is Reverend John Waterhouse. He says, when we realize that our mental states are not merely subjective experiences, then we can see how our thoughts through mind activate forces that shape our bodily conditions and outcomes. And most people these days, it's not new, okay? I mean, I'm sure you all know this, but this is a great reminder. When we change our consciousness, our bodies respond. And he says, of course, this goes either way. If we worry about getting a disease or an injury, we may well have that happen. Equally, if we have an undesired condition, yep, we can change our thinking by knowing a greater reality of health and wholeness. He says, I love the idea that every cell in our bodies listens to our thoughts and words and feelings, right? And accepts them as directives. This happens through our nervous system and through the microscopic antenna on the surface of every cell. It's something I didn't realize. Healing the sick could also refer to our emotional state. I believe every emotion has value when applied to appropriate conditions, but getting stuck in an endless emotional loop can create its own kind of sickness. And you know how people actually do that, and it happens to them. Circumstances often. When this happens, we should remind ourselves, and I changed this. I was just talking to my wife about this. I would say, when this happens, let's remind ourselves that we are in charge of our emotional state and can alter it at will by simply claiming that preferred state. Here is a way to change your emotional state to happiness. Look up and smile big. Now, I don't smile enough, but I'm pretty happy on the inside. Hold that pose for a while and see how your body accepts that you're happy and feel better. There's a lot of evidence to show that our emotional state and what we constantly think and feel, even at a subconscious level, and probably especially at a subconscious level, has a direct impact on our physical and mental health. I mean, we know this. There's been lots of research on this. We know this. There's even lots of books out there, self-help books. But probably one of the ones that I was most impressed with is Mind Over Medicine. Mind Over Medicine by Lissa Rankin, MD. And Dr. Lissa Rankin stopped practicing, shall I say, normal medicine on its own and added to it all this idea about how our thoughts and feelings can affect what happens to us. She didn't abandon all the stuff she learned in medical school, but she took a different view on it. So instead of just pushing pills, she realized that, yeah, you can do something about it through your mind. And Émile Coué, who was a pharmacist in France in the 19th century, I think mid-19th century, used to tell his patients, that they could also do this. And his phrase was, this may not be an exact quote, but it's close enough. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. And that was a prescription that he handed out to his patients, which is pretty good. So some people kind of watered this down by saying, well, you can have a healing without having a cure. In other words, the person can come to terms with whatever's wrong with them, physically, mentally, emotionally, but never have a cure of that specific thing. Well, I think that's watering down what Ernest Holmes said, that he really believed that we can cure ourselves. He called it healing, but he meant mental healing and physical healing, that he truly believed that through the power of our mind we can do that. And he got it from lots of other people. For instance, he got it from Phineas Parker's Quimby, who was in the middle of the 19th century, and then some of Quimby's students, Mary Baker Eddy, for instance, who founded religious science, and then lots of other people besides that. So anyway, that's my offering for today, but it's an important one. I mean, it's a really important one, and it's telling us, hey, change your attitude of mind, change how you think and feel, and you'll change your bodily conditions. You'll change your mental conditions for the better. So, hey, let's put it into practice. How much does it cost in terms of money? Nothing. Nothing. It's free. Does it take some effort to put in there? Yes, but it doesn't cost you any money. Does it cost some time? Yes. And as I said, does it cost some effort? Yes. But there you are. Think thoughts plus feelings equal manifestation, whatever it's on, whether it's a new house or it's getting rid of a dis-ease or it's feeling better about someone or something. So there you are. I think that's probably one of the most important readings to date. At least I think so. Within me, there is a universal healing intelligence that restores health and wholeness to my body and mind whenever I declare it. Within me, there is a healing intelligence that restores health and wholeness to my body and mind whenever I declare it. So, as I said, lots of evidence out there to show that this really, really is true. And look out for Everett Lisa tomorrow, 9:15. Look out for me at 5 o'clock tomorrow. My knowingness for each and every one who listens and watches to this is that each one begins to apply this principle and to produce great results in their lives for greater ease in body, mind, and spirit. And I release my word into that divine law, calling it done, saying, and so it is. Until next time, namaste.